Shri Radhe Shri Vallabhadhi Ki Jai. Today is the 99th day of our readings of Chaurasi Vaishnav, and now is Paramanandas Ji's Vartaji, part 2 continued. Paramanandas then sang many songs about the Lord's childhood pastimes in Gokul, in which the form of the Lord in Gokul is revealed. Rag Kanhero. The gopis are singing in their sweetest voices, the Lord of the three worlds has come to live in Nanda and Yashoda's home. The Vedas, Saraswati, Narad, sages and wise men also praise him. Lord Brahma with the Creator with his four, and Shesha with his 1,000 mouths also sing his glories. Now the poet Paramanandas joins the song, dedicating his mind, actions, speech and love to his lotus feet. Rag Kanharo. All the gopis gather in Queen Yashoda's home. They look at his lotus face again and again to dispel the separation they have suffered all day long. They want to pick him up, and he struggles to climb over the doorstep, and they giggle as they watch. They wave their both hands around his head with fists of mustard seeds and salt to avert the evil eye. And as they do, they surrender to him with body, mind, and wealth. They lift him up and press him to their hearts, which are full of love. His eyes begin to close, so they carefully take him to his cradle. And there their beautiful Krishna, dark as a rain cloud, goes to sleep. All the gopis gave him their blessing and wish him life as long as the Ganga and Yamuna rivers. The poet Paramanandas says, "My Lord is so merciful and delightful to his devotees." Rag Hamir. Sri Krishna, the upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, is crooked in every limb. He walks in a jaunty style in the lanes of Gokul, and is a cheeky dandy. His eyebrows are skew with, his gait is wonky, and his heart is playful. The poet Paramanandas says he is now in charge of all Vraja's narrow winding lanes. Part 2 continued. Paramanandas sang lots of poems like this. The poet became very attached to Sri Gokul. He sang several poems to Sri Acharyaji, asking him to let him stay at his feet in Gokul, so that he might always be able to see Sri Thakurji and experience all his pastimes. Pada Rag Saranga. This I beg of Yashoda's darling. May my mind become a bee to suck the nectar of your lotus feet, and my eyes always have you in their sight. Please grant me the service of the lotus feet of the divine couple, who resemble the rain cloud and the lightning therein, Nanda's son and the beloved daughter of Sri Vrishabhanu. You are my all in all, my life breath and my entire wealth. May I reside in Braj and always quaff the water of Sri Yamunaji. May I be the servant of Sri Vallabh. The poet Paramanandas now says, may I always be tasting your Mahaprasad and always singing your praises and those of your maidservants. Rag Kanaro. This I ask of you, O brother of Baladevji. May I have the constant love of your lotus feet and find enjoyment in the gathering of your devotees. Please give me the association of Sri Hari's devotees alone, and let me live on the banks of Sri Yamunaji. Let my ears always enjoy the nectar of your nectarian stories, and may I meditate exclusively on your dark and lovely form. All the wishes of my heart are fulfilled as I bathe in Sri Yamunaji's waters. The poet Paramanandas' Lord is the beautiful and enduring King of Gokul. Part 2 continued. When Sri Acharyaji heard these songs of divine longing from Paramanandas, he was most pleased. Part 3. Then Sri Acharyaji took Paramanandas and all the assembled Vaishnavas from Gokul to Sri Govardhan. He arrived there at Giriraji at the time of waking up Sri Thakurji in the early afternoon. He bathed and went up to his temple. Paramanandas also bathed, and after prostrating before Sri Giriraji, entered the temple. He had the holy sight of Sri Govardhanaji just after the afternoon seva. He immediately became very attached to his form. Sri Acharyaji asked him to sing of his pastimes. Paramanandas wondered what he should sing. I have only one tongue, and the Lord's forms and leelas are so numerous. Whatever I begin to praise, I get lost within that very pastime. However, it is Sri Acharyaji's wish, so I must sing something. I will sing such a song that will cover the Lord's manifestations then his pastimes in the forest bowers, and then worship of his feet, a description of his form, and then his glories. This is the poem, Rag Bilawal. The enchanting Sri Krishna is the son of Nanda. The Supreme Lord has appeared as the loving Lord of the forest bowers for the sake of his devotees. First of all, I bow down to his lotus feet. He is protector of the cows and as beautiful as a rain-filled cloud. Alligator earrings dangle on his cheeks, which are decorated with various designs, whilst his eyes are wide and lovely. He plays joyfully with his brother Balaram, which pleases Lord Shiva, and Shesha, the thousand-headed serpent. The poet Paramanandas says, the scriptures are unable to describe him, they can only say what he is not. Part 3 continued. Then the poet began to sing songs about attachment to the Lord. Rag Asavari. O mother, my mind has attached itself to the delightful Sri Krishna. My mind has now merged into him inextricably. I have given up concern for the rituals of the world and the scriptures and have invited him to come to me in my own way. Because of my attachment for the feet of this moon of Vraja, Sri Govinda, I have come to loggerheads with everyone else. Oh, how could I possibly be separated from him, oh dear friend? We are like milk mixed into water. The poet Paramanandas now says, I have just met this Sri Krishna, upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain, but I knew him from long before. Rag Gauri. I have joined my mind to Sri Hari and cut it asunder from all others. I have given up thinking about the past and the future, for now he comes and breaks my water pot in the middle of the path. If you have something to say, O friend, then say it. I don't care if everyone turns their face away from me. Now I have let my body become soaked in the nectar of my love for this youthful lad, the upholder of Sri Giriraj mountain. The poet Paramanandas states, let others laugh. I have broken away from right and wrong. Rag Kanhero. Oh, sweet lad, I really enjoy your banter. I come and go to Yashoda's home just to get to hear it. My neighbours are very displeased and accuse me of this and that. Only the Creator could know why I am so attached to you, and I am always running to see you. In your love, dear boy, I forget all about my household duties. Paramanandas, the poet, now states, dear lad, my only pleasure is to see your youthful and gorgeous form. Part 3 continued. After these recitations, Sri Acharya performed the evening light ceremony of Sri Govardhanaji. Paramanandas sang this poem at that time. Blag Kedaro. Sri Govinda is asleep inside his mirrored palace. Together with him is Sri Radhika, who is like the autumnal full moon of Sharad. Many paintings of loving play grace the walls. The couple look at them and then play enjoyable games. They blissfully anoint each other with sandal paste. The poet Paramanandas tells of how one Sakhi cools them with a fan made of flowers. Part 3 continued. Paramanandas wrote and sang many such padas. Sri Acharya loved them. After putting Sri Govardhanaji to bed, he went back down the mountain. He told the temple attendant Ramdas to send some prasadi milk to Paramanandas. He sent it and Paramanandas began to drink it, but he had to stop because the milk was too hot. He cooled it and then drank it. He then came to Sri Acharya, bowed down to him and sat in front of him. Sri Acharya asked Paramanandas if the prasadi milk had been to his satisfaction. Paramanandas replied that it had been very hot. Sri Acharya called all the attendants together and asked them why they had offered such hot milk. You should at least cool it down before offering it, he instructed. The attendants promised to do so in the future. Bhav Prakash. Sri Acharya sent that prasadi milk to Paramanandas because milk is very dear to Sri Krishna. Sri Acharya therefore lets the Vaishnavas offer this milk service so that they may be granted nectar of the pastimes of his forest bowers. Sri Thakurji speaks through the Vaishnavas when they inform whether the preparations offered are tasty and tasteful or not when received as prasad. In this way, Sri Thakurji gives them the experience of the intimate pastimes. This is why Sri Acharya gave the milk to Paramanandas. Part 3 continued. When Paramanandas drank the milk that was the nectar of the Lord's lips, he experienced the Lord's leelas all night long. Immersed in the bliss of those pastimes, he sang the following padas. Rag Kanharo. The ocean of bliss expands throughout Sri Hari's body, and when he sees Sri Radha, whose face is like the full moon, it overflows into the Vraja forest of Sri Vrindavan. That flow of bliss is contained by Sri Yamunaji, and the gopis and one or two tiny drops flow out into the three worlds. It does not touch those whose hearts are attached to fruitive activity, nor to the wise men who only cultivate knowledge. It only stays in the hearts of those devotees who appreciate the mood of love. They, through the power of their intelligence, gradually become immersed in these leelas, and he performs such pastimes at every moment for the sake of these devotees. Paramanandas now states, with the grace of this son of Nanda, some drops of the bliss seep out, and can be seen in those who belong to this bliss-filled Lord. Ragkanharo. Live exclusively for the sake of the sight of your beloved's face. You can tolerate all sufferings just for the glorious joy that your eyes will thus experience. Listen, I grasp your feet, O Gopalji. I may be weak, but you are strong, so please don't leave me. I have become attached to your form, and I consider this my greatest fortune. O Lord, you are the beloved Lord of many and the most clever. Please grab hold of my arm tightly. The poet Paramanandas is totally dependent on you, the mind's enchanter. Rag Gauri. The gopis have gulped down some amazing nectar, for they have healthily acquired all love and desire by attaining close proximity to Sri Krishna, the enchanting cowherd boy. Whilst gazing at his lovely form of Nanda's son, they have broken all ties with worldly opinion. The poet Paramanandas remarks, the boundaries set by the rules of the Vedas have all been breached. Padarag Gauri. This is why the gopis left their home for the forest, for his sake. They then attained the ultimate nectar for their eyes, ears, voice. In fact, all their loving mood comes from that son of Nanda. He held their hands tender as new leaves, put his arm round their necks and began to sing with them. The rasa pastimes that they then played contained every type of incomparable happiness and greatly pleased that enchanting Lord. O friend, this joy cannot be described. On witnessing it, sadness simply dissolves as it is forgotten. The poet Paramanandas now declares that such togetherness with the Lord only comes through great good fortune. Padarag Hamir. Nectar has condensed into one single spot. After he created your face, a beautiful ocean of ambrosia, he did not make another comparable to it. O Sri Radha, none can equal your loveliness. The dark, beautiful Lord has become a chakora bird. Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda, respectfully drinks that nectar from your face, thirsty for it as he is, and bound by his desire for you. What limbs of yours can I ever adequately extol? You are a store of ever-new virtue, good character and beauty. The poet Paramanandas now sings of how you have stolen the Lord's mind and of how he is captivated and thirsty for your love. Rag Bihagaru. I offer my whole being to this youthful couple. Let me simply spend my time in your forest bower, observing you, the divine pair, with your dark and fair forms respectively. Please bless me with your eternal service. Together with this, please uplift this soul. The poet Paramanandas says, may I renounce all activity other than your service. Part 3 continued. In this way, Paramanandas enjoyed the experience of bliss for the whole night and sang many such songs. When morning came, Sri Acharji bathed and then went up to the temple there on Sri Giriraji. He woke up Sri Govardhanaji, and Paramanandasji sang these songs. Ram Ram Kali, Raga Ram Kali. Wake up now, little Gopal. Let me see your face. After seeing it, I can happily do my housework and my daily routines. The night has passed, the sky is red, and the sun is just rising. The bees are buzzing and the forest lotuses are blooming. Standing at your door, the bards are singing your praises. They are singing of your incarnations and your lineage. The poet Paramanandasji now says, O Gopal, you are the form of all auspiciousness in the world. The Vedas and the Puranas all declare the knowledge of your incomparable supremacy. Ragram Kali. I have come here just to see your lad's face. Yesterday I saw his face and then went off to sell my curds. I sold all of it. I made double the profit, and at home a black calf was born. I have come running here and my friends are all waiting outside, so please wake him up. Hearing that gopi's words, Sri Krishna sat up smilingly and called her over to his side. The poet Paramanandas now reveals, he tells that clever gopi where to meet him with secret signals. Rag Ram Kali. A gopi calls out to Krishna from behind his house. That lotus-eyed lord is having his breakfast, but not a single mouthful is going in. He tells his mother, Oh, Mum, I left a little calf in the forest. Saying this, he rushes off in a flurry, forgetting his flute and his herding stick, nor did he call a friend to go with him. Mother Yashoda is surprised and asks herself whether that just happened or whether it was all a dream. Pumped with bliss, the Lord, supreme appreciator of loving mood and the Lord of the three worlds, above whose head a royal parasol is held, arrives at her side. They go to sit within the forest bower, and they play all sorts of sweet loving games to their heart's content. Paramanandas now sings that clever gopi, now united with her beloved, embraces that Sri Krishna who upholds the Sri Giriraj mountain, and he embraces her back. Paramanandas sang many such poems, following which Sri Acharyaji gave him the Kirtan Seva of Sri Govardhanaji. He composed many a new song and sang them to his Lord. So that concludes the reading for today, day 99. And tomorrow, part 4 of the Varta of Sri Paramanandasji will commence. So Jai Shri Radhe, Sabhi Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Ji.